Hey everyone, Nigel here with a quick heads up for this week's episode. In a moment, you'll hear our discussion on the second season of The Last of Us television show. However, we did have some technical issues with the recording that meant we lost about 25 minutes of our audio that we couldn't recover. You can blame my internet service provider for that one. So you'll hear us talking about the stories we're enjoying, and then a pretty hard cut to the start of our discussion on The Last of Us. You don't miss too much. As well as Chainsaw Man, I've been watching Invincible and a new series called The Paper, but I'll come back to those in the next deep dive episode and basically just repeat what I said that no one heard. And although we did have guest scheduling issues, which meant that it's just me and Tazziii this week, our retrospective on The Last of Us Season 2. And we'll be back next week with a whole episode for you, internet issues notwithstanding. See you then. Hello and welcome to Story X Story, the podcast by Maya Mada that dives deep into stories across pop culture, plus gives you advice on creating your own. It's episode 231, and I'm your co-host Nigel.
I am content creator and co-host Tazziii.
And we are on an unfortunate run of guest non-appearances. So another episode with just me and Tazziii, but I feel we can manage. And we'll figure out the scheduling and everything for the remaining episodes of the year and into next season as well. So if you're just joining us new, we do usually have guests on the show, but an unprecedented. I think this has actually literally never happened before. I think 3 different episodes without a guest, but yeah, so it doesn't always happen like this, but here we are. So we're gonna persevere and have the discussion with the diverse voices being our own. So if you haven't already, remember you can subscribe to Story X Story wherever you get your podcast from. We are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we are putting episodes out on YouTube. Got that figured out. You can also send us your feedback and questions in a variety of ways. You can connect with us, chat with us in the Studio 77 Discord. You can email us studio77@mayamada.com, or you can reach out on social media. So we are at @mayamada on Twitter, at @mayamada TV on Instagram and TikTok, and at @mayamada.com on Blue Sky, or at LifeOWGamer on Instagram and TikTok, and at Tazziii on everything else. You can also check out mayamada.com to get an idea of what the brand is. If you are not familiar, if you are one of those new listeners, get an idea of what we do and why we do it, and also get the latest manga from our universe as well. So before we get to today's story discussions, let's update you with the latest from the Maya Mada universe. As we almost wrap up another calendar year, we want to remind you that there are some in-person appearance opportunities where you can get a copy of our manga that I just mentioned. So depending when and most importantly where you are listening to this from, you might want to check out the Malta Comic Con, where I'll be in the building showcasing our manga at this weekend celebration of comics and pop culture, November 8th and 9th. This is one that I've been to a number of times before. It's really cool. International comics community comes together. A lot of pop culture in there, video games, figurines, D&D, and yeah, it's a fun time. So if you are in the neighborhood, definitely check that out. A little bit closer to home, well, our home is Thought Bubble. So coming back from Malta, I'll then be repacking and heading to Thought Bubble, where I'll be at the Harrogate Convention Centre for a 2-day celebration of all things indie comics. So I'll be bringing our manga again, also this time doing a comics workshop for young creatives aged 10 and up. And like I said, we'll be bringing a new manga, Origins Against All Odds, which features Tazziii's character in the Maya Mada universe for a hope-filled story about pursuing your creative career goals in the face of resistance from most of the people around you. So yeah, if you're on that creative journey, it should resonate. We've also got a couple more events for the Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign before the end of the year. So this is our campaign promoting inclusion and diversity in the video games industry. And each year we do a snapshot of 40 players and makers, which you can see on the website. It's about showcasing the representation that does exist as a way to inspire more of it in future generations of diverse talent. So we just come from Comic-Con, had a good time there, really busy, really great interaction with people, really nice platform for us to showcase that campaign. Looking ahead, we've got the Friends and Family Game Design Jam on Saturday, the 29th of November, where we'll be at Square Enix's head office in London. Anyone can come, so it's open to people of all ages, experience levels. It's all about creativity, teamwork in the heart of one of the biggest games publishers in the world. So the event is free, but places are limited. So make sure you RSVP. You got some time, but not infinite time. So check it out, looklikeagamer.com. And then we are wrapping up another year of the campaign with our end of year live stream, next one up. So this is our end of year summit, bringing together creative industry professionals and emerging talent from around the world to discuss how the year has gone and what the future of the video games industry looks like. So we've got interviews, roundtable discussions, and indie showcases, all for from 1 p.m. GMT, streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, connect with us because we'll be doing this all again next year. So you can get involved in the 2026 campaign, looklikeagamer.com. And yeah, we'll have news up there. And if you're not already, just make sure you're following us on Twitch and YouTube for that, but also for our monthly Studio 77 shows. So each month we're doing different shows with creative professionals, and we also play games for your amusement. So we just did a games night on Pool 2, which is a really fun game. We do other shows, the Studio 77 report, which has a new format coming. So stay tuned for that. We've got casual conversations with comic creators where each month I speak to a different comic creator about the craft of making comics. And yeah, follow us and catch the shows when we go live. And if you're a young, aspiring creative professional or you know one, then check out the My Matter Showrunners Work Experience program. So we're creating opportunities for young people age 16 and up to work with our team across comic production, events, and content creation. You can email us showrunners@mymatter.com to find out more and be part of what we got planned for next year. So now you're all caught up with the My Matter universe. Let's talk about some of the stories that we've been enjoying this week.
This is our spoiler-free discussion about what stories people have been reading, watching, or playing. And since we have no guests, we'll start with me. So I've watched a few different animes, which is pretty much the only stories I've had time for this month because it has been so busy. So I've pretty much fallen asleep to anime like most nights. So I finished Witch Watch because I had a couple of episodes left of that, and I just love it so much. It's just such a like sweet, fun anime, and it's about witches, so I like it. I started watching Zenshu, which is an isekai, though you'd never guess it through the short name. I feel like
One
isekais
word.
either have like one word names or sentences.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
all the
words.
words. But it's funny because it's the isekai premise is that she's an animator and she gets isekai'd into a world
Is that a
of.
term now to get isekai'd?
I think it technically is. I think I've seen it been used. If not, then
You heard
maybe
it
I
here
should make that
first.
up. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think they use it in the show. Anyway, yes, and she gets isekai'd into a world that is of an animation that she admires. I think it's one that got her into animation. Anyway, and it is hilarious because her like, you know how a lot of isekais, the character or like has these like grand powers. Hers is that her desk appears and then she animates something. She draws something to life.
Oh, okay.
So her power is literally drawing.
Mm.
Yeah, and I won't say much beyond that, but it's really really fun, and I really like the character interaction and stuff, and the animation is stunning. Well, at least for those bits, it's like bright and colorful, and like yeah, it's really nice. And it's one that anytime like her powers activated, I just kind of like have to fully focus to appreciate it.
Nice.
And then another one that I started watching that is coming out too slowly, and I literally had to switch to watch it from dubbed to subbed because I couldn't wait, is Past the Monster Meat, My Lady.
Okay, I like that title.
And it is as funny as the title. The premise is it's about I guess she's of noble rank. So she eats monster meat and is shunned by high society because she eats monster meat, and they're like, that's disgusting, you foul beast. And she needs to get married because her stepmother is like, you need to get married. And then her dad's kind of like, I think it would be good for you to get engaged. Like, but ultimately, I want your happiness to be the main thing. It's kind of like the energy between her father and stepmother is like Cinderella's father
Right.
and stepmother energy.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, and then she meets a duke. Is it a duke?
Maybe.
Prince's brother. I think his title's a duke. Really high up, who likes that she eats monster meat. Or he's not put off by it. He's actually really curious.
It's a match. Match made in
Yes.
heaven.
And it is a perfect match. And it is the most wholesome. Like the way that they connect and they admire each other is just so sweet. And it is like I just really enjoying the not just the romance, but it's got like really good premise of like a starving country or a starving village or something, starving place, and how you overcome that, and this idea of like society shunning something that there's nothing wrong with and is actually inherently good. And then there's a whole arc about the mother, her actual
The evil
mother, like her
stepmother.
birth
Oh,
mother, just like starting to learn about that. But it's just the way that her and this duke she meets are so perfectly fit together because he's kind of not shunned but feared because he's the best person at slaying monsters. Him and his like army are like just notorious for taking down the most horrific monsters. So he's kind of like feared, and he's got like a harsh nickname. She's got a harsh nickname, and then they meet, and it's all very funny. It's really hard to talk about without spoiling the little moments because it's one you've got to watch to appreciate. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been like, there's a few things that I'm like just slowly working through, but I think they're the top ones to discuss right now. What about you, Nigel?
so I have also been focused on anime just because like time and ease of getting into. So a few things that some I've actually only one I've mentioned before, and it's One Piece. So I just thought I'd do just a check in that I'm still watching drip feeding episodes of One Piece. I was got some breaking news that they're switching formats to a seasonal structure, which has no impact on me because I am still sub 200 episodes. So I have mountains of catching up to do. But yeah, that's the update. I'm still watching One Piece. Nothing much more to say. Just looking forward to just like clawing my way through these episodes over what will be my lifetime, I imagine. So yeah, I'm here for it. I still love Luffy, love the dynamic, the characters, the team, the crew, and also looking forward to the live action, which got a release date as well. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that next year as well. Keeping with the anime vibes, I started watching Chainsaw Man, which yeah, I only wait. Have I seen no? Just one episode. So literally just started. I've just started some things. So Chainsaw Man had a new film coming out, which sort of again has at the moment has no bearing on me because I've only just started it. But it's one of those I put similar to One Punch Man, not because the premise is anywhere near the same, only because I delayed watching it because on first hearing, I did not think the premise could stretch across an entire season. With One Punch Man, I was wrong, at least for the first season. I've only seen the first season. That worked for me. And yeah, I guess we'll see with Chainsaw Man. But the premise is interesting. I was having a chat with someone at Comic Con who sort of sold it to me. I was like, okay, it sounds like there's something there. Let me make a start on that.
What's going on, people? So sad that I'm missing the podcast today. Thank you so much, Nigel and Tazziii, for at least letting me be able to drop a voice note just to kind of give my overall impressions on The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm so sad me and Tazziii are not going to be arguing about everything that we think differently on The Last of Us Part 2. But anyway, just a quick summation from me is The Last of Us Part 1, groundbreaking, one of my favorite games ever. The Last of Us Part 2, when I think about it very similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, it's not one of my favorite games, but it's one of the greatest pieces of art that I've played. Like, what The Last of Us Part 2 does in art form is incredible. In emotions, it's incredible. And yeah, so just a quick top points that I'd like to highlight is firstly, let's talk about the combat, because the combat is so much better than original Last of Us. Probably Naughty Dog's best combat, the way you can move around in the open areas and so many ways to tackle taking down enemies. I'm very much a stealth guy, so the dogs are a nightmare. But yeah, big picture, huge spoiler is Joel's death. Joel's death is horrible. It's disgusting. It's heartbreaking. And it's everything Naughty Dog wanted it to be. It's an emotion that hits you right in the gut and tells you this is not your story as a gamer. This is a story of The Last of Us that Naughty Dog are telling. And what a story it is. Ellie becomes dark. She just doesn't want to stop, and her and Dina's relationship could have been something that it should be. And yeah, very sad story. When you have to play as when you have to play as Abby, that shit was horrible. I hated every moment of it, and it did slow down the pace of the game, but it was genius because I was playing as this person that I just didn't want to play. And if it wasn't The Last of Us, if it wasn't a Naughty Dog game, probably would have put it down and just stopped playing. But because it was them, I wanted to keep going. And I never forget the moment when Abby's like, she's scared of heights and she's climbing over the roof tower. And she says a joke and it makes me laugh. And I got angry at myself. I was like, don't make me laugh at your joke. But by the end, the first time ever in a game, like that end fight with Ellie and Abby is no longer she's no longer huge and muscly. She almost looks like Ellie because she's gone through everything she has. I didn't want to kill her, and I can't believe, like, I actually, that moment when you're Ellie and you gotta like attack Abby, I think I put the controller down for a while, and I don't think I've ever done that in a game. And The Last of Us taught me that video games can make me feel emotion. The Last of Us Part 2 taught me that video games can make me feel empathy, and I never knew that. But yeah, that is my thoughts. Thank you so much. So sad that I missed out chatting with you guys on the subject, and I'm super excited to listen to the full pod and see your thoughts.
Because I remember feeling like, yeah, Joel kind of had it coming. Like, they're not the only people that in Joel's past annoyed. He's done a lot. And like, to me, I was like, oh, his past is catching up on him. And not that I fault Ellie for wanting revenge. That's the most important person to her. They've been arguing, and they've stolen not just the person, but the opportunity to reconcile. And also, Ellie has grown up in this extremely violent, hostile environment and has probably had a harder life than most people, even in the context of this apocalypse. Has been through a lot, has a lot on her shoulders. So don't fault her for that. But also, I'm like, as someone who isn't Ellie, Joel had it coming. I think everyone, I think Tommy understood that a lot. It's like, not surprised that this has happened. Upset, yes, but not surprised. Like, sometimes you're like, yeah, if anyone was not happy about it, but if anyone was, it's Joel. He's like literally infamous in a world where killing is like normal.
Yeah.
He's infamous for it. He's known. He is a name. So I remember feeling like maybe not as much. I was upset, but not as much rage, because I was like, yeah, I saw it coming a mile off. I managed to avoid spoilers in the playing the second game. Playing the game, I was like, yeah, no, I saw this coming like a mile off. One day, Joel's actions were gonna catch up on him. It's the basic physics. Equal and opposite reaction. So what's interesting is I probably was more angry in the show for Joel's death. I think that's because we have so little of Abby and the agency thing. Because like at the point in the game, yeah, our introduction of Abby is we are Abby and we are fighting for our survival. We are running from a horde. Like there was, I think it's like that really misty part of the game. You're like, it's like super foggy and you're trying to stealth. There's zombies everywhere. Like, you're trying to survive. My heart rate was up. I am Abby in that moment. So then I feel like I had a better connection to Abby, more of an understanding. In her head, we have so little of Abby. We're not playing as her. We're not experiencing the world as her. We're only experiencing Ellie and Joel. Okay, they've done like a brief, here's what happened, but you have no connection to it. You're like, okay, these are just a bunch of strangers that are showing up and have a sob story. Whereas I feel like in the game, it was like, oh, damn, kind of thing. And then this, like, yeah, it was just like a very brutal murder of Joel. And I think, I feel like there wasn't that much scene violence in the show before this point.
I mean, not human,
like,
human violence.
Yeah,
if much at all, is quite stark.
But like, yeah, it's like quite a contrast. Whereas, like, if you're playing the game, especially if you're not that good, at this point, I've seen like a lot of brutal violence.
Yeah,
mainly me getting killed over and over again. Yeah, because I can't stealth and I get scared of clickers. Like, so I think that stark contrast of it's been all very much our lovely Jackson community. Oh, how lovely our lives are, even though we live in a zombie apocalypse, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Have created this lovely town. Yeah.
I get that. I think, that is part of the problem. And I think with Abby as well, I think there's a bit of a problem with Abby and the structure. You know, we'll talk about the structure of it, is where she kind of, in a way, just comes, does some very brutal, violent stuff, and then disappears. And you never really connect with her. I guess that's coming, but in this moment, you don't really connect with her. So, I mean, that is really the inciting incident of the whole thing. So once we get used to the ordinary world, that is shattered, and now Ellie, the now sole protagonist, has to sort of go on this adventure, which is adventure of revenge, out into the unfamiliar world. So it's literally leaving Jackson, and then we lose Joel, at least in the present day. So yeah, that kind of, as in the game, sets off the order of events and changes the relationships. And then this is where it comes into the, I guess I'd describe as a problem with the adaptation of half. I mean, I think fundamentally, well, I was saying the adaptation of like this game to show, but also when you're doing half of it, where this is based on half of the game, where season one was a whole of The Last of Us Part One. I think, like you said, Tazzy, is sort of unfinished, or is that? I think that's the word you used.
Yeah,
The unfinished
unfinished.
thought. Yeah, because there's essentially no beginning, middle, and end. So it's not a complete. It can't be a complete story because we know what the story is. So we know it's not complete. And I feel this is where we get into the issues with like pacing, which is really good in season one, but then also blending the current day actions with flashbacks. Yeah, previously it done it really well. Again, everything was sort of self-contained. Even in The Last of Us Part 2, the game, the flashbacks were done well, where especially the emotional beats were served up right when you needed them, and then we got back to the present. Whereas I feel here is a bit confused, a bit muddled. Did you feel for the half that we got that the way they structured it was this the right way to do it? I'm thinking particularly with, because I was wondering how they're going to do the flashbacks, and they essentially saved them for like one episode.
Mm.
Did that work? Did the way they structured it work?
I think so, because I don't know. It's hard because I was trying not to think about the flashbacks as I was watching, because I was like, no, don't think about the flashbacks.
Well, now you're
Watch
thinking
the
about the
show.
flashbacks.
And then I'm like, and then they pop in, I'd be like, are they going to do any flashbacks? Like, it kept popping into my mind until we got the flashbacks. So
Yeah.
I can't really talk about the impact of them because they were kind of constantly there, like looming, just hanging over, like,
I mean,
like
that
a,
suggests that you needed them, and they weren't there at the right moment. Or is that just a comparison with the
but
game because the game sort of sprinkles them in?
yeah, that's what I'm saying because
Right.
I know I was waiting for them because of the game. So I don't know if without them, how that would have affected. Like if someone watching that hasn't seen it doesn't know that there's these lovely flashbacks, but also I feel like it wouldn't have made sense without the flashbacks. You don't understand Joel and Ellie's story without the flashbacks. So I don't know if the moment's right because I know the flashbacks, and so I'm constantly have the flashbacks in my head and b beats of Joel and Ellie's relationship in my head. Like, but they
Yes,
did
tricky one.
do the flashback scenes really well in terms of like comparing them to the game, like
Yeah, no,
the
when they were
flashback
done well, yeah.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think with much of this is that the quality of the pieces is not necessarily under question. Although there's a couple of things we might get to, but it's I guess the order or the
Yeah.
arrangement of them, and obviously the nature of the lack of agency, and then the half a season kind of leads to that. So yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. I think this is one of the things I don't know. And again, it's like trying to separate my experience of the game and then taking the show as it is. It's like it feels. It just feels incomplete. It's hard to separate from that. But I think again for a show, for a viewing experience, I think it was done well. I think the biggest one for me was just the absence of Abby in this, which just meant she felt like I don't know, she just swooped in and just had this major impact and then swooped away. And then you've got this quest for against someone that you haven't really understood. Like, I mean, you know, because they say it, they know why she's doing what she's doing, but you just haven't like felt it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I think for the flashbacks, I don't necessarily have a problem with them putting them all in a one episode. I think on like looking back, similar to you, I was thinking, I couldn't help but think, I know these are going to come up at some point, but looking back, I feel it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different kind of feeling at different points in the journey of this story. And I think that's what the adaptation has done. So it's not exactly the same. It's the same story, but it's not the same, ups and downs at the same points.
Mm.
And I guess we can only really say if that's a good decision after seeing season 3.
Yeah, it's really hard to give a opinion. It's so unfinished, but I'm
Yes.
like, it'd be so interesting to get someone's view if they haven't played the second game and they've just watched it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what that. If you are that person, let us know, because that's an interesting view. I know when we. Are we?
Would they be listening this far?
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, yeah. All right, well, clip it and send it to
Yeah.
them and recruit them for us. Yeah, I do have a friend. I should have surveyed him actually before this, because I know because he watched the first one, because I remember reading some of his reviews in the first season. I should have asked
Yeah.
him, because I know he definitely hasn't played the game and he won't play the game, but he will watch the show. So I'm
Yeah.
going to ask him and then report back in a future episode. So
Maybe for part 3.
yeah, okay. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but we are on the internet, and giving opinions is is what we must do on the internet, apparently. So all right, let me get to some of the bits that I felt. Actually, it's not what I felt was wrong, but what the internet, speaking of the internet, felt was wrong. And then I'll get to the bits that I think weren't done as well. So Abby, like I said, even though wasn't in this season 2 as much as she might have been in the games up until this point, some of the backlash that I saw even before the show was that the actor Caitlin Dever did not physically resemble Abby in the game. This was an interesting decision, because so Abby in the game is quite muscular, and I think that, I mean, you just can't please everyone. So that people complain because, like, oh, it's a woman and she was big and bulky. I had no problem with that. I think from a game playing perspective, I think the rationale was that Joel is your more tanky type character. Ellie's more stealthy. You lose Joel, so then as a player, you've got the tanky character, but also someone who's force for Ellie to go up against. I think that was a rationale in the game. In the show, so you don't necessarily need that same rationale. So they made a decision that Ellie doesn't have to. The actor that plays Ellie doesn't have to. So no one's gone on some MCU training regime here, and people are upset by that. What did you think of it, Tazziii? That casting?
I wouldn't go as far as to say upset, but I did think, oh, that's an interesting choice. I wonder if, and this again, it's really hard to give an opinion because we haven't seen enough of Abby. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, but they probably chose an actor that plays Abby really well. So how they look is way less important because we need to feel Abby. But I do think it is a bit of, it's like a slight letdown that we didn't get that same level of representation of like this very strong muscular woman as Abby, because I think it is a part of her character. But again, this actor might play Abby really well. We don't really know. We've only had a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she did play the
We
I'm
know she
really
hits like
angry.
Abby.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think it has a little bit, not much, but I do think it maybe diminishes the character slightly, because her character is someone who is very physically powerful. She's in a position to take over a psychotic army that's worse than the army that they originally fought against.
The Fireflies.
No, because they were the wolves were replaced the
Fedra.
Fedra, yeah, and seem to just have become Fedra.
Yeah.
And she's had to prove herself. She's had to be the toughest. And I think it does diminish that a little bit, but I don't think it's a big deal. It's like a slight disappointment. I would have liked to have seen someone a bit more of a like really tough. And then as well, like the contrast between like Ellie and Abby, because like Ellie's tough, but in a different way.
I agree with that. I think pretty much I agree that I was just a bit disappointed. I would have liked to have seen that, but I also don't know. Again, I'm gonna have to ask my friend actually what he thought of. I'm just gonna have to pick his brain on this because I couldn't help, like, my expectations of Abby are set by the game. So every time I'm seeing Abby, I'm like, okay, that's not the game. So I'm trying to take it as it is. And again, when we see more of her, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it would have been nice. But again, not to the level that I need to go and I don't know what people do, just go on Twitter or X, whatever, and just like hurl abuse at people. That's not a human way to you can criticize the work, but you don't have to
but not the
attack the person. Yeah.
Like even when I was watching it, like I think maybe like I questioned how I thought about it. There's this very particular scene where it really stood out to me, and it was the end scene of her like standing in the like stadium looking out over it. And I was like, because maybe part of it is because I was expecting tanky Abby. That I was like, she's quite slim, but like really slim compared to tanky Abby. And then like even that thought, like as I was watching, I was like, it feels like a wrong thought to have about someone acting in a role. Because that is a human being and not like noughts and zeros.
Yeah.
Noughts and zeros? Noughts and ones.
Noughts and ones, yeah. If it's all noughts and zeros, then you got a problem in your code. But yeah, no, I feel that there's a mixed set of reactions for Abby, and I think so. To my one of my issues with this was actually with Ellie. And I don't know what you feel about this, but I feel Ellie was a bit off, and to reiterate, criticize the work and not the character. I think Bella Ramsey is great. I love her. I don't know, just she seems cool. I don't, just seems like a cool person. I think for the most part plays Ellie really well, but I feel in this one more for I guess this is more for the writing, but the way she was characterized just was a bit off. I think, speaking of the physical appearance, and I don't say this in a disparaging way, just she looks really young. And in the game, Ellie has grown up, and even though Ellie in the game is still say a young character, but she looks older, like distinctly older. She looks a bit more actually a bit more world weary, maybe, and just like hardened enough to do the things that you're gonna have to do in the game. Was Bella Ramsey just has the good problem of looking really young, I guess. So even though this season is set like 5 years forward, I mean, she just looks young.
Yeah.
So that's not her fault. I think the key thing for me was like the characterization, because I don't know this for a fact, but I feel the creators felt that the game was too bleak for TV and maybe found a way to lighten it a bit. So Ellie comes across as quite plucky and less serious, and particularly less driven, especially to go on the mission that she's on. So there was a point where it really struck me was when they were in the abandoned cinema with Dina, and actually no, maybe it was outside somewhere. But anyway, Dina had to like tell her like not to use a pistol except as a last resort, and Ellie was like, was Ellie supposed to be clever and resourceful? But like she's been portrayed as like, in my mind, I'm thinking like someone telling Homer Simpson, like now Homer, not to use the pistol, and it's like, yes, Marge. Like, it was that kind of character, and the moments where Ellie just didn't come across as serious.
Yeah, I felt like she was really dumbed down.
Yeah,
I felt the same off feeling. It was a lot of like, oh, you're not really schooled. You're not really a schooled person. You're like, you're not like. It was a lot of like, you're not smart type thing. And I'm like, I don't remember Ellie ever being dumb.
There's never a question.
She was just headstrong. She had the knowledge. She knew the stuff. She just was defiant. And like Dina would just be better at some of the like more tracking slower stuff. but not because Ellie was like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, maths is hard. Yeah.
No, I felt the same. I did feel that I felt off with Ellie. It was, and I agree with the youngness. She does look really young, and it can't be helped.
Yeah.
But then I don't think the writing of that, like, I'm Ellie and I'm so stupid. Like, it was very caveman. Why did they
Yeah.
make her like, I am caveman? I bash rocks. Like,
And I think Bella Ramsey's, because she like seems quite quick-witted and
yeah.
that kind of character. So I think maybe some of playing into that for her, but then maybe just dial that down, and especially with because the idea is like she's gone on this vengeance thing, but it felt
Yeah.
like Dina was taking charge of it, which to a certain extent I
Yeah.
like, because then the support that she showed and how that relationship went. But it was like without Dina, you'd just be you would have died in the first hour.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it diminishes Joel a bit as well, because I'm like, hold on a minute. It was Ellie and Joel traveling alone for a very, very long time. Joel taught her stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff,
What did you
like how
teach
to
yourself?
survive
Yeah.
stuff. The notorious person's notorious for being good at as being a smuggler. I think she'd know how to triangulate at least a bit.
Exactly. So just often, and I feel like it was the creators just thinking, how do we lighten this up, and maybe not. I don't know if it's a trusting or just trusting that the audience could take. I mean, I don't know if that it is a bleak
The
story
right
like this.
audience.
Yeah, the right audience, the intended audience. And there were a couple quotes I'll just read out from Eric Kane. This is via Forbes. We had a couple kind of pieces of this, and I think they just both summarize this well. I just quote them. So they say that this is about Ellie, instead of seeing her become the monster she needs to become while still hoping that she tracks down Abby and takes her revenge, we see her as an incompetent, rash, childish character who isn't even particularly invested in revenge to begin with. So that's the first one. And then the second one is, by the time Ellie finds Nora and kills her, it almost doesn't even make sense. She spent so much of her journey as this happy-go-lucky kid on a road trip with her girlfriend. You almost think she doesn't really care anymore about seeking revenge. Then she just unleashes cruelty.
I think they were fair criticisms. Normally I'm like, are we watching the same thing? But no, I think they were very fair.
Because when you do get those moments where she does track down the members of WLF, it's all of a sudden, like in the game, perfect. In the game, the pacing just felt right at moments, and it felt like you built up to it. Whereas, she goes from like happy-go-lucky to I'm going to bash your leg in and just be like really dark. And it's just like, whoa, it's quite quick, and especially 7 episodes. So you're taking quite big emotional swings within that.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like in the game, she was so driven by her rage, and that any sort of moments of a lapse of logical thought would be purely because she was in a rage state of being driven by the rage and revenge, and that's all that's on her mind. Whereas any of the like lapses in intelligence were in the still moments. It was never because she was filled with anger and rage and revenge. It was just, that it's just a comedy point. Yeah, no, definitely. As we're like talking about it, I'm like really understanding why it felt really off.
It does, because I think I felt it at the beginning where I was questioning whether, because Ellie has a lot of quips and a lot of just back talk, I guess is the phrase that comes to mind. And I was like, is this a bit too much? Because to a certain extent, she's like, even at the beginning when she's not taking people seriously in their rules, I'm like, surely you'd have like a level of respect where you've been in this community long and it just feels like you're not respecting people.
And I feel like in a game she is quick-witted, and she does have like some banging one-liners.
Yeah.
But again, like she has a lot more dark humor in the game. Like when it is those lines, it is like, oh yeah, I'm the only like she knows she is dark. Comes from a dark place. She's suffered with a lot of dark thoughts because she's the only immune that we know of, and she felt like her purpose was taken away from her, and she's dark but quick. It's dark wit in the games, and in here it's just like silly, like you said. It's
It's
almost
like
like
one or the other. It's like
yeah,
slapstick or cruelty.
yeah.
It is
Oh, these are dark jokes.
yeah. It does feel off. So, but then it does bring us to the end, but the middle, because the end is the middle here. And I will say the moment the show ends is when we see Abby again. So Jesse and Tommy have come. So essentially, like Ellie has decided to go on this mission despite the downvote on the council or the committee council in Jackson. She gets some help from what was the Seth. She gets some help from Seth, who's a character that seemingly had a problem with the kiss that Ellie and Dina had on New Year's Eve, but he feels after the murder of Joel, it's the right thing to do. Sort of punish, get revenge or justice, I think was the feeling. So we get them. Ellie goes out, and then I think they are sort of trapped by a horde of infected, and then Jesse arrives, saves them, brings them back eventually. But then Abby shows up, immediately kills Jesse.
I was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's upset in the game, upset in this, because that was just after they Ellie and Jesse had their one-to-one.
Moment.
Jesse finds
Yeah.
out he's going to be a dad.
I think I was more upset here than I was in the game at that bit.
Because you get more of Jesse here.
Yeah, and we didn't have a fight with Jesse, because in the game, don't him and Ellie have a fight before she leaves,
Oh.
like a proper physical. I'm sure you're like in the mud in the play park or something.
Oh, have I forgotten that?
I believe that's a moment in game, or I made it up. Headcanon.
No, it could be back. Yeah, put it in. Yeah. So we lose Jesse, and then it ends with Ellie appearing to be shot by Abby, and yeah, and that's it. And I think by that point in the game, because that was the point in the game where I actually put the controller down. There are 2 points in this game where I just didn't want to. I was like, this is too much for me right now. I'll come back to this. But I didn't feel that in the show because we hadn't seen. Because by that point, I had softened on Abby, and because we got more of a perspective and the whole empathy thing. So then at that point, it was like two characters that I understood, maybe not agreed with everything they did, but understood, now coming to like sort of deadly blows. And I was like, I don't want to do this to either of you. But I didn't feel that in the show. So then it felt like an anticlimax a little bit. Did you felt the same, or how did your feelings feel like for the show compared to the game at that point?
I felt like a bit empty compared to the game, other than Jesse, but it felt a bit flat. Like there was no. I feel like in the game it was like really like heart rate, like hold your breath.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
And I didn't get that same impact. By that point, I was like, okay. other than Jesse, I was like, oh, and I was like, okay. It just didn't hit as much. I think as well, it's because we don't get enough of Abby beforehand.
Yeah, I think that was the other problem, as well as Ellie. That was the other problem where we don't get enough Abby to be fully invested in that moment.
Yeah, because in that moment, at that point, you've played as both of them. Of course, you've played a whole game as Ellie, but then you've played as Abby. You started to understand Abby's struggles, Abby's feelings, and at that moment, it's kind of like, well, not everyone, at least for me, I was like, oh, like you both are so hurt, and so this, like, when does the cycle end? But at this point,
exactly.
like, I'm all team Ellie and team Jackson.
Yeah,
Zero team Abby.
Yeah, Abby. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, at this point, Abby just seems like a really horrible person. Like, no remorse, no like. And then so her hesitation seems off character, because we're like, at this point, it's just Abby's evil. Abby's the enemy.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a different emotional.
Yeah, it's a different emotion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild how same events, but you change the order of things. and it's
And
just
change the
a different
agency.
reaction. And yeah, take out the agency. That I think that just makes such a big difference. And
Yeah.
I'd encourage anyone who maybe listening who hasn't played the games. I mean, it depends if you're someone who gets, some people might just not enjoy playing games, and it's not a fun game. Like this is not a fun game to play. But I think from it is a different story. I feel at this point it really is. Obviously, I know they're different mediums, but it really is a different
Yeah.
story. It feels like.
At least watch someone play who you'll be
Yeah,
invested
yeah,
in them playing the game.
yeah. That's a good point.
If you're, yeah. But it has to be someone that you'd be really invested in them playing the game. You can't just watch anyone play it. You have to have a connection to the person playing it so you can get the second-hand agency.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. If
So
you
find
can,
your
I'd
favorite
encourage
streamer
that.
that's played your favorite YouTuber and watch their playthrough.
Hmm.
Or a friend that you like to enjoy sitting down and watching games. I
Yeah.
encourage that too.
No, that's a good point. So I feel because the video game story is so good, and that agency is so important to this particular journey that these characters are on, and you won't get that in the show. But what you do get is in Infected, and see in the game we saw new types of Infected. One type I won't say, we won't spoil because that I wasn't sure if they were going to have that in this, but there's something coming. But we did get the bloater, like that big, bulky, like muscly, bulky Infected in the assault on Jackson, and then I can't remember what they were called, but the smart Infected, which in the game freaked me out because by that point, even though like the clickers were scary, they all moved at a pace that you
They
knew
were
to expect.
predictable.
Yeah,
They were simple,
yeah,
predictable.
and
The
I
clickers were
can
just
deal with that.
off-putting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but these ones, I do remember in the game, like it just freaked me out because it became like alien and predator, just like moving in the
Yeah.
shadows.
And I think they were done so well in the show.
Yeah.
I would almost argue better.
Oh, then in the game.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think very well. They're done very well. I
Yeah.
did actually. That was one of my favorite. That early scene of when Ellie first meets them. That was a freaky scene, and it brought back good bad memories of the game. Where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what do we do? I have to throw out the playbook now and to deal with these new kind of smart ones.
I really enjoyed the Infected
Yeah.
in the show. I was really happy with the spores.
Yeah, they brought it back.
And then bringing that back. And I actually really like how they brought it back into it.
Yeah, it was quite an emotional introduction.
Yeah. And maybe that was I think it worked. I was really annoyed in season 1 that the infection had changed.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the few things they had changed for. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, weird. And it makes like certain bits not make sense. And I guess I realized in this bit, it really would make some things not make
Yeah, it makes
sense.
sense.
And then I thought it was quite clever how they reintroduced it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can go with this. This works. This works. I like how you've done that. Kind of feel like it probably works better in the show that they've done it that way, because I feel like it will ramp up that threat in a way that if they just followed how the infected work from the game, might not have been as effective as like that threat level and why it's changed. Because in the game, I feel like it's very much relevant of like that you are playing it and that you do have to go down some paths where certain infected are like just there, jump scaring you at every turn. And you have to be really cautious. So I feel like it works in terms of like changing that threat.
I get that. Okay. Yeah. And like you say, the moment that it happens in the show just comes again, that world building, because you first hear about it from the perspective of the Fedra. I'm getting my factions.
No, Wolf.
The wolf. Because and just how it's impacting like them and the individuals there. You get someone who's like lost a lot of her team yeah, it just is nice. I felt that was nicely done, and then we see the impact, because then it leads to one of Abby's crew kind of, learning that Ellie is that that girl, who can't be infected. So I think, yeah, and the special effects, like like I said at the beginning, the high production value just looks really good. For the infected were really well created. The effects there just really well done. This was a positive of the show, how that was represented. And I mean, we've spoken about a lot of the characters. I don't know if there's any you want to touch on. I think the one I wanted to come back to, I thought was interesting, was Gail, the therapist. So, and for multiple reasons, I mentioned that the relationship with Joel, who's dealing with Ellie and his own stuff that's tied into that, and needs to seek help. Just thought it was interesting view on that, just seeing him go and seek help. But also just like the for the therapist, because she's such a character. Like she's the one therapist, and I'm watching her thinking, who did she go to? And obviously she goes to drinking to
And
deal with
weed.
her problems, and weed, and how she gets paid. So
And
that was a fascinating character.
yeah, and I like that they touched on that as well, because I think there's one point she's talking. I can't remember if she's talking to Tommy or Joel, but she says like, "Who do I go to? I'm the only one here.
Yeah.
There's I'm meant to talk to someone." And
Mm.
then and I think as well, because she has also had some. Not only does she have to carry everyone else's burdens, but she has her
She's got her
own
own, yeah, which is a
deeply
great
traumatic.
tie-in. Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was a great. I mean, it's tragic. So much tragedy in this, but narratively, it's a great tie-in to the fracturing of Joel and Ellie's relationship, because
Mm,
you get Joel and Ellie's sort of fractured relationship, and you kind of know why without yet seeing why, and then that's the use of the flashbacks. But then Gail does say, like, Joel killed her husband, and that was quite a revelation early
yeah.
in it, because I was like, wait, did I miss something in the game? And then later on, I thought this was really well done, where we see in the flashback Joel having to kill, I want to say Eugene,
Yeah.
Gail's husband, where it tied back to the lie that Joel told Ellie, and the way that Ellie discovers it. So when they stumble across Eugene, there's been an infected attack, and he's been bitten, but he still has time before he turns. So he wants to see his wife again. He wants to see Gail again, and Joel's like, nah, I can't do that. Rules are rules, can't do that. It seems
Which
like
is
Ellie.
funny coming from Joel, but
Yeah,
rules are
yeah,
rules.
rules are rules. Yeah,
Since
right.
when?
When, yeah. Now, rules are rules now, Tazzy, right now, as I'm saying the sentence. So, and it seems like Ellie's convinced him to show some compassion. So he's like, and you knew what was coming when he's like, you go get a horse, and I'll see you there. He's like, nah, we're killing this guy, and he gets a nice scene, nice final scene. I'm sure there's no consolation to him, but then he's telling Ellie, this is what we say to Gail. Then back at Jackson, this is what we say to Gail, until Ellie's like, nope, that's not really what happened, and you lied the same way you lied to me. And I do remember in the game, obviously it's a different scenario in the game, but there was a point in the game, and it was again through flashbacks, where Joel and Ellie had the conversation. And I remember in the game thinking, now we're having a conversation. I knew it had to happen, and this is when it's happening. We're having a conversation. Let's get it out. And now it's the
Mhm.
same kind of situation here. So I thought that was a really good moment.
Yeah. I do also really appreciate, like, while we're touching on this bit, like, because we go to flashbacks of Tommy and Joel's upbringing as well, and they bring round the line of their dad being like, my
Mm.
dad, like, beat me even worse than this, and I'm doing better than him, and I hope that you will do better with your kids. And then Joel says the same thing to Ellie
Mm.
about, like, hoping that she can do better, but he doesn't regret any of it.
Yeah, in fact, he says, I'd do it all again.
Yeah. Oh, that moment's so sweet, because then Ellie's like, I can't forgive you, but
Mm.
I'll try. Like, something along those lines. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Like, because in that moment, you feel like you can't forgive someone for like betraying you.
Mm,
But if you really care about them, you're bring tears to my eyes. Anyway,
yeah.
point being, yeah, I really like how that works, and I think how they revealed that conversation was had was really good because they didn't show it straight away because they showed
No, the
that
double
moment,
back. Yeah.
yeah, and I liked because I liked how they kind of kept it. Does she know? Does she not know? And I think she says she knows, but we're like, does she really know? And I
Yeah.
know she knows because I've played the game.
Yeah.
But in the context of the show, I'm like, does she? When does she know?
Mm,
I don't know in the game when she know. In the show when she knows, it's different. So I quite like that. I thought that was good, and I hope that was enjoyable for people that haven't played the
played it. Yeah.
game to get that energy that we would have got
Yeah.
from the game.
From the game. Yeah. And especially when she does track down, I think it's Nora
Mm.
in that spore infested corridor when she was like, "Oh, this is what Joel did, and this is why he had to die." And then it was like, "Oh, I know."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry about that. We had that conversation. Like this don't change nothing for you.
Yeah. Separate matter.
Yeah, yeah, we dealt that. We dealt with that. So yeah, again, and it's the adaptation, right? So you have to. Some things had to change. So I had to feel like there were some good changes that fit the medium, fit the story that's being told. And I think there was some that had like an issue with. I don't know if you had any like standout moments from the episodes or any episodes that stood out to you. Obviously, like Joel's death sequence is just like a permanent marker on this game.
Mm. There's a few. I feel like a lot of the slower moments kind of like really touched me in this, like especially between Dina and Ellie. Like the moment Dean actually there's the moment that Dina tells Ellie that she's in love with her. But there's also the moment before that in the tent when they're on their way and there's just a look. And I was like, it was just such a like beautiful moment. But then the other impactful moment was the what are they called? The whistly people, the cult
Oh, the scars.
scars. When we're first introduced to the scars in the show, that moment they're walking walking through, and there's like the
The
conversation with the
whistling.
child, and then the whistle. And I thought that was a really good introduction to the scars, especially then once because it kind of like at that point it's just a little bit. We don't properly know. We don't know who's. I don't really know who's chasing them at that point. Did they tell us that the wolves are chasing them at that point? I
I
can't
don't think
remember if
at
it's
that point,
then.
but I think
Yeah, I
later
don't.
on we know the context.
Yeah, and so I liked how that happened, and then obviously like going back to that space with Ellie and Dina because we don't see what actually happened to them until then.
Right. That's a good point.
And I think it was just a really good way to like tell that story and introduce that conflict, like slowly
Mm.
unravel it.
Yeah. It's also a good way to do exposition because they explain the whistles as he's talking to the child. So then the child's like
Yeah.
learning it. That's a good way to do exposition. And I thought the actor who plays Dina, Isabel Merced, is really good. Like she
I
has
think she's
really good
brilliant.
presence. Like
Yeah.
every scene she's in, she just commanded that. Just yeah, it was really
Yeah.
good.
And she really captures that, like, because Dina's supposed to be like the prettiest girl in Jackson.
Yeah,
She captivates everyone. And I think she did that really well. Not just because she is pretty, but because it's the energy that she gave to it.
yeah,
It's that like yeah, she just played that character really well. That like energy of like, I know I'm pretty,
yeah,
but
yeah.
also I'm still a nice person. And she was smart and clever and funny.
Yeah,
And
I also like.
she just glowed on the screen type thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, she's excellent. I did like Tommy. He didn't. I mean, he had his moment in the invasion as well. I like.
Mm.
I don't know if I felt the same way about him in the game. Maybe this might be a film improving or giving something. Sorry, the show giving something so positive, and just he felt like because he has his family. He's set. He's obviously Joel's brother, but he's not about to take the risk that Joel would take, or certainly Ellie would take unless it's absolutely necessary by the end.
Mm.
But I like that, almost like a stability. I don't know. I like that he was a very stable like character who would protect, his family, his community, and tries to do the right thing. Obviously, like with the
Yeah.
council and everything. I appreciate his character, and similar with Jesse as well. Like those sort of characters. I'm trying to think. Like, I did like the flashback episode, even though I maybe had a fundamental problem with the flashbacks all being in one rather than dispersed. But I did like the flashbacks where we see the interaction Joel and Ellie are having over the birthdays. I like that kind of exchange they had, because
Yeah,
it just
that was
shows
really
Joel
good.
as like, because Joel just he's obviously so imperfect, and he's trying, and he's trying in the best way he knows how, which is definitely not always the right way, but he's trying, and you see the ups and downs of that relationship, and what is essentially, I know they're not father and daughter, but Ellie growing up and becoming like more of the teenager, and just, I think Gail mentioned it, like, oh, you're surprised that your 19-year-old daughter is rebelling against you. Oh, wow.
Wow, you have a teenager.
Yeah. He just, because obviously his, the whole idea is like he lost his daughter early, so he never had those moments with her. So he is that clueless dad just trying to do his best for his daughter. R.I.P. Joel Miller. All right. So with the themes, there's just those central themes of revenge, the cycle of violence, the act of violence from Joel sets off Abby on a revenge mission, and another act of brutal violence, which then sends Ellie on a mission of violence. So it's like, when does it stop? And I think that's the question over these season 2 and season 3 being asked. Even though Abby was maybe not in this as much as he needed to be to get the emotional reactions, she did have a line in the game and in the show, which I guess reminded me of the game and the emotion I had at the moment, where I just think it's a brilliant line, and it speaks to this, when she comes back and kills Jesse, and she's like, oh, it's you I let you live, and she's like, I let you live and you wasted it. I think that's such a powerful thing of, she was given the opportunity, and I think I remember playing it where I was like, yeah, maybe I'm the bad guy, because it's like I said at the beginning, I was on the revenge. I was on Team Ellie revenge, and she's like, I let you live and you wasted it, because she's like, this is what you did with your chance. I could have killed you, I didn't, and this is what you did with it.
That made me angry, because I gave you the chance to live. Who are you to give me the chance to live? Are you God?
True, yeah.
How dare you? Because then as well, in that line, it's saying, kind of putting herself in an all-powerful position of like, I give life and I take life.
Take life, yeah. But I mean, in that position, she was, yeah. she could have taken Ellie's.
So equally, Ellie can take whoever's life that she wants, and that's what she's going to do.
Yes.
If you want to play God, then I'm going to play God.
I'll play God too.
Yeah. Who gets to decide, huh? Who gets to decide who lives or dies, huh? So, yeah, that line made me quite angry. Even in the show, I was like, that's it. Right. Abby, you're done. This is like, I'm so Team Ellie in the show. Like, I'm 100% Team Ellie. Playing the game, I was like, Abby has a point.
Yeah,
I feel for Abby. I don't think she done the right thing, but I feel for Abby. I see what drove her there. I don't agree with this endless cycle of violence, but I see why you're there. I get it. I'm grieving for both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
I really wish she lived in an era that had therapy and there wasn't just one.
More than one. Yeah.
And
one alcoholic.
And that you weren't constantly surrounded by violence and threat. But in this, I'm like, go on, Eddie.
Yeah.
And I think the friends were spineless as well.
Yeah, I didn't like any of them. Yeah.
Whereas in the game, I felt they were all like their own individual characters.
You just got a bit more from them.
Yeah, they were lacking. But maybe season 3 is where we This is the problem. The order is like the order combined with the lack of agency. Yeah, I think they shouldn't have changed the order. maybe it wouldn't have worked because that switch between characters when your agency works. I don't know if it will work very well on TV.
Might have been
But
confusing. Maybe that's why they did it.
yeah, but it does take away a lot because those moments
Yeah,
aren't
they
as
just don't hit
impactful.
as
Yeah.
well.
I'm very curious as to will they do season 3 so well that by the end of season 3 I'm team Abby or like midway
I mean, that would
through.
be an effort. That would be an achievement if
Yeah, I
they
feel like that's
manage that.
hard to go
Yeah,
through a
from where
whole
they are.
2 seasons of TV. Like having the agency of the game really helps to switch you. Yeah. Sorry. I'm really curious. I
No,
can't I can't believe they've done this in 2 parts because now I have to wait to
a
I feel like
long
I have to
time.
wait to cast judgment on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I was going to say one thing I do think. I guess what was intriguing to see where the show does well in presenting situations that look like one thing and then shift the dynamic. So I'm thinking like Gail and her husband that she mentions early on. I'm like, what's going on here? And you see what happens, and it's like, oh, and then yeah, there's just elements of that where we see one thing and then it comes back to another, like Ellie assuming that Jesse voted yes on it, and then you find out later it's like no, I actually voted no because I'm practical and all that. So yeah, I quite like that. But like you say, overall, it didn't hit as much. But we'll wait for season 3 to see if they can pull it off. I don't know if there's any final thoughts for you. One thing I will say actually on final thoughts, I made a note of this, but I just thought it's funny that when Ellie finds out that Dina is pregnant, because she has the line that I'm going to be a dad, and there's like just happiness, like, oh yeah, we're going to raise this child. And I'm like, wait, the actual father is still alive. Like, have we just wrote him off as having any part in this, like raising the child kind of?
I don't think it's a right the off because either way, still gonna be a dad. They're both gonna be
Yeah.
dads.
But it's just like this assumption that I'm taking over. But yeah, I don't know if you had any last thoughts, or do we just have to wait until season 3?
Yeah, I feel like no thought that I have is a last thought.
Thought, yeah,
My
it
my
can't
last
be.
thought is what's season 3 gonna be? That's like
Yeah,
the question that's on my mind is like, how is that gonna play out? Like, I feel so incomplete. Incomplete is my final thought. No, overall, I do think it was a good. I'm trying to think if there's anything other than that. I do think the scene with Ellie killing the 2 friends, the guy and the pregnant girl,
oh yeah, that was a big
felt
moment
a
in the
bit
game as
slapped
well.
on.
It felt slapped on in the show. It felt
Yeah.
meaningful in the game.
Yeah, it felt really meaningful in the
Yeah,
game. It
so
felt
actually I didn't
really
even think of it now, but yeah.
yeah, it felt really slapped on. And I think as well, I think it's because of that, like the silliness element that they added to Ellie. That because in the game at that she's driven by her revenge.
And it's right at
She's
the
not
end. Is
thinking straight.
This is the
She's
height of like madness.
yeah, and she kills a pregnant woman, and that emotion drops on her. But in the show, it's only when Tommy gets there that you really think, oh, this is really hitting home. And even then, it still feels a bit lacking.
It just feels like tacked on, just not earned. I mean, not I don't know if
Yeah.
earned is the right moment, but the right word. But just in the game, you've done things, and it again because you got the agency at that point. It's like, oh, like I did this. Oh, I didn't want to do this, but I've done it, and what do I do and
Yeah.
everything. Whereas I'm watching someone who, like you say, has switched from slapstick to dumb to suddenly very violent, do this thing. It's like, huh? It just quite add up.
And then like the like moment where it's like, oh, just cut me open. She's like, I don't know how to do this. I like cover when the woman's dying, just put the knife through her. Like what more damage? You're not going to do any more damage. What do you mean which way? You've literally stabbed several humans, not just infected actual living humans, and you're telling me you can't just
Do one more.
you're not even, you've already killed her. Yeah, just open it. What, yeah, that bit. It was so flat, all of it. I was like, at that point I was like, who are these people again?
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the game, I think I'd have never have clocked on as to who they were until we get back to the theatre and we see Abby.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. Definitely mixed views in this, and just encourage people, if you can, play the game or watch someone that you care about their opinion and experience play the game. And just for people, we as a fan base of media just need to remember we can critique the work but not the people, because for the game, the show just has brought out the worst of people online. We just don't need that part. But yeah, that's one thing I can definitely say for this for this season. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's interesting. We need that season 3. Because it's hard to put a proper pin on a judgment on this. I tried to separate the one from the other. I found it hard to do.
So hard.
Really hard, yeah. But so remember what I said about the paper. And yeah, I guess we'll be back for season 3. So that is kind of our discussion on The Last of Us season 2. Let us know what you think, especially if you are that person that one hasn't played the game, has watched the show, and has listened to us all the way through to this part. Get in touch. We're looking for you. But I'm going to survey my friend because I'm sure he would have watched it actually. So yeah, that's it for our retrospective. Let's put a pin in that and come back to it. So yeah, that's it for our retrospective. We don't have any guests this episode, so we don't have anyone to shout out. But if you would like to be on the show next season, then get in touch. Studio77 at myamada.com or in our Discord on social media. We're easy to reach. But that's it for the show. I guess I'll thank ourselves. I don't know. That seems self-aggrandizing, but thank ourselves for being here. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this episode, thank you to our listeners. Also, the listeners who give us feedback in person. We had a really good interaction at Comic-Con. I'm going to shout out Kieran, who joined us for our anime panel, and then went back to listen to the show, found us at our booth, gave just really good feedback that I appreciate, because he listened. And it's still weird for me when people quote things that I say on on the podcast, but I do appreciate people listening to us and sharing and giving kind words. So yeah, we're working on doing more and bringing more people on. So always appreciate people who actually take the time to listen to us. If you would like to be one of those people, then make sure you subscribe to the Story X Story podcast. Also, give us a 5-star rating and review. Looking at you, Kieran. But yeah, give us a review. Helps us reach more people, more fans of story discussions. Check out our stories online, including the new one, or at least this year's one. It has been a little while now, but it is latest release, Origins Against All Odds. And connect with us. We're starting to work on next year's plans, and we haven't been able to get through everything we wanted this year, but plans are still underway for some changes in the Discord. And I mentioned the new format of the Studio 77 report. So connect with us. You can also be part of the Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign, either the events to come this couple months of the year and next year as well. So it's all about inclusion and diversity in the video games industry and culture. You can see more at looklikeagamer.com. And as for the podcast, we release new episodes on Thursdays, and those include creator interviews, video game discussions, and deep dives into stories across pop culture. You can always give us a shout directly. Our email address is studio77@myamada.com, and our website with links to subscribe is myamada.com/storyxstory. So thank you for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe, and remember, your grade is still under review. Come back next term. We might have something for you. Take care, everyone.